now we're live. So anything you say can and will be used against you. All right, guys, I'm here with June and Ross from AGHOST in Seattle. Everyone really liked my conversation with Ross that I did a couple months back. So I thought it'd be cool to bring him back and bring June in for this to talk about stories from the road.
Cool.
How you guys doing?
I know a lot more incriminating things about Ross now.
Hey,
let's screw those stories.
I know where you sleep, June.
Oh, maybe I won't give everything away.
just a little. No. How long have you guys been on the road together?
10 years plus, maybe. Well, maybe it's over 10 years.
No, I think it's been since about 2012.
Was it 12? Because it was right when we moved.
Yeah.
Spooked in Seattle. We were there at our old location for what, 8-9 years. And we've been out of it. So it's been over 10 years, June.
Wow.
You guys have been to a lot of
I hate to date you, but
thank God you're not dating me.
I know.
Tell me about your first ever investigation together.
Oh, what would that be? That would be Stanwood Hotel in Saloon.
That one. Yep. I'll let you tell that one because that was your guys' investigation.
Well, I used to be in another group, actually. I was in a couple groups before I came to AGHOST. And the other group I was in, I was led by a really, really, really sweet guy who couldn't say no to people, let's just say. So if somebody wanted to come along on an investigation, he's like, sure, and bring your friends. So, so sometimes we would have 30, maybe 40 people at an investigation.
Wow.
And it was my job to kind of keep everybody quiet and only send 4 or 5 people at a time to the haunted location.
Can you imagine trying to keep 40 people quiet at the same time? Not possible.
So my friend Todd, who was the leader of the group, also had a radio show, and he and I did our own kind of radio show, and we had this strange person on named Ross Allison on the show. And of course, Todd invited him to come along and be invited him to come along and sorry, I got a little sidetracked there, to come to the investigation. So of course he invited him to the investigation. And when Ross got there, I kind of actually begged Ross to talk to Todd about inviting so many people along. So that was kind of like the first time Ross and I met each other, everything. And
it was kind of cool because, Todd, again, wants to make everybody happy, and June has to try and keep everybody under control. So it was a chaotic investigation when I met her. So for me, I just kind of did a quick tour of the place and then I left because you can't really investigate with that many people around.
It's not an investigation at that point.
And when June asked me, she's like, can you get, him to, see the importance of having a small team is? So I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So the next time we got together, I put together an investigation. And it was at the comedy club, and we actually only had 4 people.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing. And he was like, well, this is kind of cool.
Todd was like, wow, it is kind of nice having just a small, intimate group to do the investigation.
You hear a sound or a noise and you don't, you know that it's not another person walking in that area. It's actually, could be something that we can't, we don't know.
Yeah, because when you got that many people, you really don't have a controlled environment, so you have to discard all EVPs.
Yeah.
Everything has to be discarded because you can't validate any evidence. True. Because there's just too much going on. Yeah. And I think that night we actually got an EVP of somebody whistling.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
And there was nobody else there except the 4 of us, and we were all in the general area together. So yeah. So yeah, awesome. that was pretty awesome. But then sadly, Todd passed away from some cancer, and Ross kind of inherited me after that.
If I
So
would have known, I would have said, Todd, live, Todd, save me.
yes.
No, I love June. We've been the best of friends for ever since we met. So
Awesome. Now, what would be your most memorable road trip
Oh my
ghost hunt?
God.
there's so many,
Just
because
one
we
high school.
travel all over the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're just talking about road trips, that would be in the United States. But of course, we were in, around Scotland and doing our haunted castle tour, which was amazing. That was pretty cool.
Do we want to talk about that one? Is that qualify as a road trip?
I don't
Well,
know.
hey, you were on the road. You were tripping. So
So yeah, I'd have to say that is probably one of our most memorable trips was when we did the haunted castle tour. And that's where we actually flew into London. We spent a couple days in London, did touristy things, Highgate Cemetery, which is amazing if you ever make it
Oh,
out there. It's the
so
oldest
incredible.
cemetery.
I
I just
lived
got
in.
hyperventilated actually when I went in there because there were so many of these gorgeous monuments all over the
Mhm.
place. I was like, what can I take pictures of first? it was
I I actually lived in London for about a year.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Have you been to Highgate?
I have. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, especially if you can get a tour on the old part. They have the west and they have the east and the west, and the west part is the one where you have to book a tour in advance.
Hmm.
Because I know the first time we went to London, we tried to do it and it was already booked up, so we
We didn't
missed
realize
out.
we
So the
had.
next time we went there, we made sure we had booked it in advance, so she could see the west end. Because the east end is still amazing,
Yeah.
it really is, but the west end's
But
amazing
it
as
kind of
well.
stunk though. The tour that we took, it's like they don't want you to lollygag, as the tour guide kept putting it. Stop lollygagging. It's like, oh, sorry.
It
I really apologize for my 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 English
It was
accent.
good.
was that what that was supposed to be, June?
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but I'm really bad at it.
But to be honest, the fact of the matter is, me and June are those kind of people that will hang out towards the back because we want to get pictures without the tourists. You
100%.
know, you want to get those beautiful pictures of these monuments, and
Tour guy was getting madder and madder at us because we were hanging back. There
Lollygagging.
were a few other people that hung back too, so and they
mm,
were getting a little exasperated too. It's like, give us a few minutes to take pictures. And sadly, you couldn't see the whole. I mean, they just took you on, just a little, the little section of that side, and
yeah, you
and
don't get to see the whole cemetery, but
No.
it's still worth it.
it's
Go
amazing.
go check it out.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
So we
check out
did.
Warwick Castle?
I've been there. June hasn't been there.
That's my
So
one. I have two England ghost stories. My first England ghost story was back in 2000 when I visited Warwick Castle. And I don't know what tower it was, but it was only me in there. And I heard footsteps coming right behind me really fast up because like those old towers, they have spiral staircases just along the
hmm
the
hmm
walls, and I just heard like the echoing of the tuk 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 behind me, and I'm like, oh god, what's this? And then reading ghost story books after, like, because I bought a couple when I was in London the first time, and that was one of the tells. They hear footsteps going up the
oh,
towers
that's
there.
cool.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
We did do the Tower of London, so that
So
was
like,
kind of cool, which is haunted.
mhm.
And then when I went there by myself one time, I did the Tower of London again. And I stayed at the Tower Hotel right next door to it. And I was like, kept looking out, hoping to see some specter walking the grounds.
The
And
princes
Yep.
help
I was like,
us.
please help.
And there's Philip doing his thing again. Mary.
That would be
Which one?
awesome.
So we flew into London. We did, all the touristy things in London, and then we took a train to the nearest town to Chillingham, because
Killing
we
it.
wanted,
Yeah.
yeah. So we made our way to Chillingham Castle, which was an adventure. If you're talking road trips, that's an adventure on its
Okay.
own because there's no direct route there. You have to get to the town nearest, and I think that's what about 15 miles away from the castle itself.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
and we
take
got
the
Although when we found the taxi driver, the first thing, we're telling him this is where we want to go because we were supposed to get a bus that was supposed to go close to there. But of course, like the buses only ran like once every 7 hours or something, and we missed it and all this stuff. But we were telling the taxi driver, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I know where that's at. It's not showing up on my GPS, but I have a pretty good idea where it might be." And we're like, "Oh,
Going like this for money.
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was pretty funny. So yeah, the taxi driver didn't really, like even know where it was at, but I can't
Or the
remember how much it was, but yeah, it was a little ways.
So we got to Chillingham Castle. We spent the day at Chillingham Castle, spent the night there, and it was nice because it was off season. So it wasn't overcrowded with guests, or in fact, I think there was maybe just, I think, 4 other people staying there
Mhm.
besides us. So we got to, do a nice little tour. And the fun thing about it is, of course, they claim Chillingham Castle is the most haunted castle in the UK. So, that's the castle you got to go to. And they
Mhm.
tell you all these horrid stories of torture and
Mm.
hangings and the bloodiest history that you could imagine. And as we take this tour, as he's starting to wrap up the tour for the night, he's talking about the haunted forest too around the
He's saying
castle.
about the haunted forest. Sorry, he went out.
Did I go out again? Sorry.
That's okay.
So he's talking about this, the haunted forest, and he says no one can, stay out there after midnight.
We're like, what?
Hold my beer.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, challenge accepted. So of course, after the tour, first thing we do is we go out there. Now this was a really dark night. I
There's
mean, you
no
didn't,
moon at all. I mean, it's
no,
completely black, no lights, nothing around there.
because you're in the middle of nowhere.
The
The
stars aren't
only
there.
light is that's coming out is the lights from the windows in the castle. And again, there's not that many lights in the castle because there's not that many people staying in the castle. So you go out there and you're in pitch darkness. And so you definitely need some light source to see your way around, especially if you're going to go through these trails in the woods around the castle.
Mhm.
So, we're all geared up. We go, traipsing around. We're walking around the trees where they did the hangings and stuff like that. And we're being told of all these stories that, are supposed to happen. Apparitions are seen, women are seen talking and wandering around in this
Exactly.
area. So it gets, we're having a good time walking, checking things out. And then also we start to hear what sounds like women talking.
Hmm.
Well, first
And
of all, though, all of a sudden you say, June, did you just pull my jacket? And I was like, no, I didn't pull your jacket. And we've got this part on video even. And he was like, somebody just pulled my jacket. And he was, just a little weirded out there when all of a sudden we start to hear the sound of women's voices and everything like this. And Eileen, who was with us also, she said, "Oh, darn it. Somebody's coming in, to kind of break in on our investigation."
well, we
And
figured it was because there were a few ladies, staying at the castle too. So we figured, because we saw them on our tour, so we figured, oh, they're gonna see, what's going on after midnight in the woods as well. So we were like, great. So we were trying to keep an eye out for them because we wanted to make sure we avoided them. So we would be as far away from them as possible. So we wanted to get away from them. So we wanted to see where they were going. And we're looking and we're straining our eyes trying to see where these women are, and we can't see anything. Now remember, it's so dark you can't walk around without, as I would say, a torch, but of course, a flashlight.
Mhm.
And we can't see any lights whatsoever. And all of a sudden, as we're, just waiting for these ladies to wander out, from the woods, nobody. And it just stopped.
No.
we realized, well, first we're really mad because somebody's breaking in on our, investigation time. Then all of a sudden we realize, uh, we did anybody see any flashlights? Did anybody see any lights? And it didn't sound like they were that far away from us, maybe about 20 feet away from us in the woods.
See, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, there was no place they could have gone. I mean, there was no car, starting up. There was nothing. And
Yeah.
there's no way they could have been walking around without a flashlight. because I was like trying to use the camcorder to see where I was
Yeah,
walking.
most of June's video that night is aimed at the ground, so she can see where she's walking.
It's really sad because there could have been an apparition right in front of me doing a little tap dance, and I would have been like, I can't see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That would be pretty nuts to experience though, because how do you compute, like your brain computes and your ears compute people are around you, but
And we just thought somebody was just, kind of, messing up our time in the woods. And then, and then we find out, of course, the next day we're asking, around, and nobody was out in the woods except for us.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Now let's jump into, since you guys have a lot of miles on your tires together. What is your most unnerving road trip investigation?
Together. Let's see.
Where you're like your biggest WTF moment of like, why are we doing this? Because every investigator, I think, has one or two of those where it scares the shit out of you sometimes. I've had a few.
Have we had anything
like our WTF is when June's driving and she gets lost.
I've heard about that.
And she's on dirt roads where she doesn't know where the hell she is.
Yeah.
That's the moments where it's like, oh my God, I am gonna die. And I'm not gonna die because
or like a head scratcher even.
Could be a situation where June kills me because we're in this situation.
Ross, are you there?
I do get a little upset. I can't think of hardly any place that we've really been like really nervous or.
Well, there's places we've been frustrated. Like when I remember when we were doing Waverly Hills, and of course everybody has to meet outside the gates, and we got there nice and early, and we're thinking, oh my God, we might have this place to ourselves. And a car comes up. Okay, that's fine. There's just 6 people. Okay, this is still good. This place is, pretty big, so we can avoid those 6 people. And another car, a couple cars come up. Okay, now it's up to 12. Okay, we can do this. We can still do this. By the time they opened up the event, I think there was like about 30 people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of frustrating when you pay to do a ghost hunt and you got about 30 people that you have to compete with.
Well, I mean, at least the good thing about that is a lot of people left, and well, we made it all night for that one. So
we were the last team to leave. Yeah.
That was kind of nice.
So
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so the true ghost hunters are the ones that are willing to stay, to the very end. And
that was pretty exciting. It was fun.
It was a fun place, and most people left after the tour. They took the tour, and then you got about half the group left. So.
And then some of the places we were at, nobody was around, like the death chute, the death tunnel, and the theater, everything. Nobody was around there, so that was pretty cool. But
did you guys pick anything up in Waverly Hills?
I think we had some interesting experiences. I got that shadow hand that was reaching out and touching Tammy.
Yeah, because Tammy started. What did she talk about? She said that she felt like something was touching her, and then you clicked a picture, and it looks like a hand right under her boob.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know, the Mansfield State Penitentiary. I can't remember if we had some kind of creepy-ish moments.
Well, we were up there.
Up in the attic. That's where we did it. Yeah, it was up in the attic.
So the first, me and June were doing our little investigation. We had a couple of the tour guides, following us around, seeing how we do our investigation. And we were up there, and this is the attic spot where they actually had to keep a bunch of prisoners when they were when they had overcapacitated. They had all these bunks in this area up in this attic space. And I remember we were just there, and all of a sudden we'd hear somebody walking on the concrete, like concrete, there's a little bit of gravel, on concrete, that sound when you step on rocks as you're, walking on concrete, that was clearly coming right towards us, and we could hear it. And so that was pretty intense. And so we ended up getting the team together, and we went back for the last part of the night. and we, to see if we could, have that experience again. And sure enough, you could hear the walking, but also the room just got dark. All of a sudden, it just
Yeah,
really dark, and we all witnessed it at the same time.
if
Sometimes
you've
you
ever
wonder.
you've been in the dark and then all of a sudden it starts getting darker and darker. I mean, it was the strangest thing. Yeah, it was really
Did you get
interesting.
the ear ringing sensation too? Like when it gets super dark like that and quiet? I
I
get
don't
that.
You know,
No?
recall any ear
I
ringing.
don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we did or not. But it was, yeah, it was very dark. And then everybody's standing still and we're hearing, clop, 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 clop. Yeah, it was really interesting. It was pretty,
Wow.
yeah.
All right. Give us some more memorable stories. That's what I'm looking for. I want to hear the scariest. Dig deep, guys.
Scariest.
Scariest.
Give us a brothel one, Ross specialty.
It's oh well, I was gonna say the Shady Lady. We had
The
some
Shady Lady.
experiences there in Centralia.
Well, I'm trying to think of ones where I've had plenty of situations where June was screaming.
Yeah, let's get into
Like
those.
screaming. I never have screamed.
Oh yes. When there are
My
furry little critters running around, she
Not
screams.
the
okay,
ghosts, but the
okay, I'll
rats.
give you that one. I'll give you that one. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
What
I
Well,
about
mean,
your 108-mile experience, Ross? That startled you in the
oh
barn.
yeah, that's right. I
of course,
forgot
I
about
wasn't
that
there,
one.
but go ahead.
Um, were you the one standing next to me during that?
Yes, I was.
Oh my God. So that's right. You have it on video.
Yes, sure do.
I just remember we were up in that farm and shooting down that walkway where they say they see that dark shadow, and I thought I saw something in the distance. And of course, we're only using flash, so we're taking flash photography. And right in one of the flashes, it was just right in front of me. That second, and of course, I was like, "Oh my God!" You know. So
Yeah, no, that was it's even the energy in there, like it was it appeared a lot darker in there, even like you guys are talking about darker than usual, like visual. It kind of felt like that when we were on the catwalk there to me. Um, and yeah, I remember you saying I should dig that video up and send it to you. Um, how
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
yeah, I guess that you felt something was almost running at you, and in the
mhm.
flash, that's when you that'd be scary.
Because I saw it in the distance in the darkness. I thought I saw something move in the distance, and then when the flash goes off, here's this dark silhouette, right in front of me.
Yeah.
And it was just that split second of that flash of light, and I was like, yeah, that was startling.
Now, what's one of your guys' biggest pet peeves when you're on locations together when you're on your trips?
Pet peeves with Ross. Just kidding. No, no, no. um, no pet peeves. When somebody, it's like,
My I was gonna say my problem is a lot of times, ghost hunting. You understand when I started this, you didn't have to pay to ghost hunt.
True.
A lot of the places we could get into were free, and they weren't overrun by all these ghost hunters and enthusiasts trying to get inside their haunted locations. So it was more of a rare opportunity to do these investigations. But now, of course, due to the popularity of ghost hunting, you find a lot of places um, that you normally probably couldn't get into, because now they open it up to the public, for these ghost hunts, and now you have to pay, which is nice. There's its advantages and its disadvantages of the fact that now when you go to these places and you can't get your own, investigation, you have to do their public investigations, and dealing with the public is something that frustrates me when you get into some of these places, when you're dealing with other teams that don't know how to shut up during an investigation. They don't know how to be quiet.
yeah, that really bugs me. It's like they're, yeah, exactly. Or they're whispering.
You know what bugs me now? Because I see it on investigations where it's public ones. They bring out their iPhone 12, they put on their ring light, they bring out their tripod, and they just start doing like an obnoxiously loud live session while being in these haunted locations. and it kind of ruins it for everyone. Hey, but they're
Right.
getting that clout. But now it sounds like we're getting into the Angry Ghost Hunter, Ross.
I know. We gotta watch ourselves here.
We
There
have
are
But
a lot of pet peeves, but
we have 8 minutes, 38 seconds left of our interview, as presumed.
well, we have like 180,000 more places to talk
stories, I know.
I I'd like
We
to do.
didn't even get to finish our haunted castle tour.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
You
just
know,
our first castle.
I know we're gonna have to do like volumes 1 or episode 1, 2, 3. Just the
You
raw.
know, I have to say that I'm very lucky to have the opportunities to travel all over the world. You know, even the team has been very fortunate to have these opportunities to travel, you know, just not outside the world, but every year we do a haunted road trip. So we, you know, fly into one city, rent cars, and we drive around and hit all the haunted hot spots, and then we fly out of another city.
That would be fun.
So, you know, we do that every year. And I know we're planning right now is going to be Arizona, where we want to hit a lot of the ghost towns down there
Damn.
and fly out of New Mexico, I think is what we decided. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of really cool trips lined up that we want to do. And I know COVID has kind of put a hold on a lot of that stuff.
Mhm.
Our last trip we got to do was in Rome. We went to Italy. We did Rome and Sicily and all that, which was amazing. Got to stay in some haunted castles there and visit some amazing haunted places and temples and all that stuff. Um, so I definitely do try to keep this group active in traveling because I think it's very important that we, especially when we get a chance to go overseas, to learn about different cultures and their beliefs.
Mhm.
And it's just amazing. And I'm very grateful to do that. And I'm very grateful to have you and join me on a lot of these adventures. A
Mhm.
lot of times I used to do them all by myself.
That's yeah. How do you keep your team active, or how do you guys remain active with paranormal investigations, especially with COVID and that?
Well, we do follow the social distancing, you know, rules. We ask that everybody still mask up for safety. Now I know we're dealing with the Delta variant. You know, we definitely want to keep everybody safe. It's still been kind of slow for us, a little
Mhm.
quiet.
Yeah,
Right
we're
now,
getting a lot of inquiries, but I think a lot of people kind of freak out a little bit about having people in their home
Yeah,
with the COVID going on and the variant. So
indeed. Now, Ross, June, what do you guys have for the next? Let's go 3 to 6 months. What's your 3 to 6 month travel plan, guys?
well, we're
I
gonna
don't know.
hopefully, if nothing weird goes on or the variant doesn't go crazy, we are going to Salem, uh,
Massachusetts.
Oh, damn, dude, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Massachusetts,
You going
and
for Halloween?
No, we're going in September, so
Awesome.
just before Halloween. It's crazy to be there around Halloween. Oh
yeah,
my God, I've been there a few times during
I've never
Halloween.
been there before, so I can't wait. So we're gonna
Oh,
have a lot of fun places to see and investigate.
Check out the Witch House, House of Seven Gables.
oh man, that'd be wicked.
I
Have you
found that
been
Mm.
before,
original
Ross?
What's
place.
that?
Have you been before?
Uh-huh. I've been to Salem quite a few times.
Have you
Yeah.
investigated all the witchy type places or any
I
of?
got to investigate the Witch House. Let's see what else. There was a hotel right across the street from the Witch House that we investigated. What else did I do in Salem? Trying to think. I know there was a couple other places. Hawthorne was nice and let me do kind of a little walkthrough and do an investigation on my own. Wasn't a full-on investigation, but it was still pretty cool to check it out because there are some good stories at the
Hopefully, we
Hawthorne
can do that
Hotel.
again.
Yeah.
Anything notable in the witch house?
The Witch House, I got a couple of strange sounds on possible EVPs, but nothing that you could actually make out.
Mhm.
But then, you know, you also have to understand if it is haunted by, you know, by the ghosts of back in the day, you know, you're talking about early English too.
Mhm.
And so that might be a little harder to translate. You know, even when you watch the movies, it's not always correct in the movies.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I found out that the original, I guess the original hanging spot that was actually the real hanging spot that they kind of pinpointed is now, I guess, in the middle of a Rite Aid or Walmart or some kind of convenience store.
mhm.
I can't remember which one it is, but it's kind of sad. I was thinking, bringing our instruments in the store.
You should.
Well, you can actually go into the cemeteries too, which are kind of cool. I've done the cemeteries, walk through the cemeteries at night, and you can get some pretty interesting things there.
Awesome.
So that's one of our big trips coming up. So I can't wait.
That'll be a good one. Okay, you guys should come up here one day.
Well, hopefully.
We want to. You keep teasing us with your photos.
I know.
We're knocking and they won't let us in.
I'm sick and tired of hearing you constantly going neener, neener, neener.
I was just telling Ross before you came on, June. Sandra and I went to like, what was it, 6 or 7 locations in like 4 days ish, and it was pretty busy. One of the cemeteries in Greenwood, the Greenwood Cemetery, Greenwood, British Columbia, has one of Jesse James' gang members buried in there. There's a lot of cool history there.
So he ran up to Canada to escape extradition, or
he was part of the Confederate Army during the Civil War, and while the Civil War was winding down, did you know that the Confederates came up to Victoria, British Columbia to get supplies?
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I was doing my history.
Interesting.
And he decided he liked it up here, and the Civil War stopped when he was having a business meeting up here regarding supplies. And
it's like
I think by then this would have been Oregon Territory.
Yeah.
So
1864, I guess, around there, and then he moved to Vancouver, then up to Greenwood. So
oh, interesting.
Yeah. All right, guys. I would I want to do this again. 40 minutes was not long enough. I think I'm gonna have to buy Zoom so we can do this longer, because we can do a whole haunted castles episode.
Oh, the castle tour was amazing. Like I said, that's one of our most memorable trips, visiting all the castles and staying in them. I mean, we spent 4 days in a haunted castle, had the whole castle to ourselves.
That was amazing.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, yeah, Roslyn Castle was just amazing.
I spent most of my time on a big fluffy down couch in front of the fire.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was ghost hunting from there.
That works.
And recording the haunted toilet.
Yep.
Yes. The toilet that just kept flushing. Yes.
Yeah, toilet kept flushing by itself all night. Yeah.
Weird.
The water came on. It was pretty cool.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to cut it now because we're less than 20 seconds. So
all right.
It was fun. I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Be safe.